Go.
Hey, Rick McBride here with your Property Masters team and excuse me, your 5 minutes of free time with McBride Realty Group. We all know that scams and hoaxes are out there. We all think it'll never happen to us, but the other day we met someone who fell for the Craigslist Rental Scam. In crazy markets like this, there is no guilt in falling for a hoax. It's very creative and it's very easy to fall prey. Hopefully you'll read this and be aware of the dangers and protect yourself against a scam if you're out there in the rental market. Here's how it works. To play on one of the oldest Craigslist scams out there. Basically it starts with opportunity, then they build trust, and then the scammer has the two things needed to pull off the scam. What they do is they find an old abandoned home or maybe a current listing or a foreclosed upon home and advertise it for rent on Craigslist. They lift the picture from the listing and then advertise it at, of course, an unbelievably low rate that everyone would want to jump on. I know this personally because we listed our home for sale, and all of a sudden the picture of our house from 7 years ago showed up for rent on Craigslist. Of course, we didn't place this rental listing or we would have known about it. So what I did was I contacted that person to see how I could rent the home. My home, remember, that isn't for rent. And immediately I received a reply that stated they were happy to have me see the home, but they had an extraordinary amount of people reply to the ad, creating a sense of urgency, and they're requiring a refundable security deposit in order to get the code to see the home. Of course, once you send the deposit, they simply disappear. They don't answer. There's no money. The money's in an offshore account, and you pretty much have lost it. This is the Nigerian version of that scam, but it can and it is and can be run locally. To run it locally, the scammer sets up a shot at a foreclosed home. They were able to secure a lockbox code for it, which is another reason why realtors should never give out lockbox codes to anybody except for other realtors. And another reason not to use a lockbox code. Use an electronic lockbox, which is what we use all the time. Because these properties are rarely checked and the bank is many states away, they set up shop, they act as the property manager there or the owners of the property, and then the unknowing, usually desperate potential renter sets up an appointment to see the property. Again, of course, the property is competitively priced so that there's a line of people to create a sense of urgency. When you get there, there's a bunch of people in line. Sorry, I lost my place. And then the person scammed is often the most desperate. And they usually can't get a house through traditional measures. For whatever reason, this makes them extraordinarily vulnerable. At the appointment, the person acting as the property manager builds trust. They tell the potential tenant whatever they need to hear to make them believe they'll get the place, and they collect a, again, fully refundable security deposit on the spot. Some are so desperate that they pay first and last month's rent as well, right there on the spot. Often, this is the only money that these people have. You probably know what happens next. The checks are cashed, the culprits disappear, and the poor desperate person simply trying to find somewhere for their family to live is out all of their money. It is quite disgusting. So, how do you protect yourself? To avoid being scammed, you should always be on alert when searching for rental property. It is the most likely place that you will find a scam in the real estate market these days. Make sure the people showing the property have a business card if they're a property manager that includes their phone number and a local address. A property manager will typically be local. Legitimate property managers will not collect a security deposit on the spot. What they will do is they will give you a link to a background check and run the credit check before collecting any funds. You will be out that money, but at least you know that it's legit. If the home is privately owned, verify the owners at the county appraiser's site. You can just search for the county. Search for Volusia County Property Appraiser, and then search for the property by address, and it will show you who the owner is. Often that owner, if it's privately owned, will be a company or a corporation. So what you can do is go to sunbiz.org and search for that corporation and make sure that the guy you met is actually the guy who owns the property. 2 quick searches that you can perform right there on your phone will let you know right there while he's standing there. And guess what? If he's legit, he will be happy to help you do that search with you. Let's face it. Hey, most rental listings are legitimate. But if something seems amiss, it probably is. Do your research, because ultimately, it's caveat emptor, buyer beware. Do you know it's usually cheaper to buy than it is to rent? If you know anyone wanting to sell any property or any businesses, give them our number, 386-866-1007. We'll be happy to get them top dollar for their property.